Hey guys, it's Ash and P.
Hey,
Gosh,
stop it.
I
Stop.
can't. Um, sorry guys. This is not a good look for me right now.
Um,
And so
You know what? We
please
all
continue.
have pooch and bubble gut and, well, bubble gut's more like
I know
toots, but I mean
I
like,
don't have, oh, Bubble Guts is toots? I
isn't
thought
it?
Bubble Guts was more like the shits.
Oh,
Is it not?
I don't know. I just assume it's like bubbly,
Like,
like tooting.
yeah, that does make sense, but I always pictured it as you had the shits.
Oh,
I guess maybe
maybe. Well,
we need to
usually
figure
one
that out.
leads to another.
I don't know. I would have to say, sorry guys, I am pretty gassy, but I don't always have the shits.
You know what? You are very gassy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you always been that way?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, I've been this way for a very long time, but I don't remember being
Like when you were younger?
gassy. Yeah, like in high school and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But maybe after I had kids, I don't know. I probably just maybe I eat worse. Maybe I eat so much more. I don't, maybe my body's changed and it can't process stuff the
How's Sweet
same.
Belly going?
It's going good.
Good.
Yeah, very good.
That's
I
great.
was proud of myself. Yesterday at work, on the third Thursday of each month, it's called Third Thursday, and it's like a whole safety deal. And so we get lunch, and have you ever had Mamma Mia's?
Yes.
Okay. Is it good?
Yes.
Okay. I've never had it.
They have a really good, they're known for like their calzone.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love those.
Mm-hmm.
But my boss, of course, does not want to take orders from people. So frustrating. I hate that he does this. He wants to just order like catering or wants to order like yesterday.
Like an assortment of stuff, and that's it.
He doesn't want to do individual meals.
I see.
And I hate it. It is probably a little more expensive, but I would rather get something that I'll eat than have to eat something that you think we'll all eat.
Do you know who does a really good job at that? And it's actually very simple. And they'll even deliver, and you can order online, and it's all Panera.
Oh.
Panera does great, like catering lunches. And it's like individually, like you can get whether it's a sandwich or a soup and salad or.
But you order individually.
Yes, you can. But it's easy in a group setting because, and I will tell you this, it is a bitch to get like 20 people's orders. You know what I mean?
I do it every time. Everybody's birthday, I do it. Most Third Thursdays, I do it. My credit card is maxed out. We changed over our system that we report our expenses in, and so it shut down. Well, I maxed my card out between that window.
Yeah.
And so I told him the day before, I was like, hey, my card's maxed out. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to need somebody to go with me. And so he ended up doing it and sent someone else.
Well, if that's the case, then why doesn't he just have you put in the order? And then, that's the most annoying to me is taking 20 different orders because people are like, no onion, no this, no that. And you're like, mother.
He also wants to go the cheapest route, which is kind of annoying because it's something that like they've allotted for this.
That's very nice that they give you guys like a free lunch day or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's very nice. I'm very appreciative.
We were just talking about this. So I say kid because he's much younger than us, but the kid who was working with us in the office for a few months, actually he was with us for like a year, and then he finally graduated from Fresno State, and he got a full-time job. This new company, first of all, he had his business cards in one day.
Dang.
From starting. And they do like Cookie Wednesday.
Oh,
and they
cute.
do like all of these things. And I'm like, man, it's so crazy how like offices have just kind of changed,
Yeah.
and they've tried to do all of this. We used to do this when I worked for a bigger company, but it was like our department did it and we did it like basically for each other,
Mm-hmm.
like I would go get breakfast burritos and, someone else would, bring in whatever the next
So it
week.
wasn't
So
the
it was
company.
no,
It was you guys
it was us
individually.
individually doing it because we liked the people and we liked food.
Which
But
is, I mean, that is very, very nice. It's good that you guys got along and that you like to do that for each other. And
we're spending our money.
Yeah, I think it does boost like the
yeah.
morale at work, like just for you guys and your own team. But I think when the company offers to do it, it's oh, that's really nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think sometimes businesses don't, I don't want to say everything that the company does, because I feel like people would be like, oh, like that's why about the company I work for.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think companies don't recognize how much it can change people's morale, or how it could change even just work environments by doing those things. Like, we have a friend and his company, is it every other Monday they bring mobile car wash and they wash everybody's vehicle. Like, so nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and yes, it's an expense. Of course, it does get to be written off in taxes, but it does cost, it does increase.
Well, and you have to think about, especially, I mean, it's a completely crazy different market today than it was when we were looking for our careers, way back in the day. But it's cheaper to keep a good employee.
Oh, yeah.
Than to keep fucking trying to find them and hiring and going through the process.
Turnover is a massive cost.
It is. It is. So, so take care of them, Yeah. Take care of them while you have them. We do that even. So the company that I used to work for, which was a much bigger company, we like 1 year did a holiday party and then we never did it again. And their holiday giving back was you got a ham for your family. That was like your Christmas gift.
What if you were Muslim and didn't eat pork?
Well, then you were fucked, because that's all they gave out. There were no other options.
Not everybody eats pork.
I was like, can I just take the $25 that you, you know what I mean? It was like, oh my gosh. And then I think at one point they tried to switch it and they gave us a $25 gift card to Target or something. But it was like, granted they had a lot of employees, but they also had
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, you really just don't value. It's because it's little things. It's very little things. I know they all add up, all the little things, but it means something to the employee.
Right. Exactly.
And you want to leave going, you care because they care.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
they want to make me happy and I want to make them happy. It makes me work harder if I'm happy. If I'm feeling like I don't want to fucking be here and I hate my job, I'm probably not going to be as productive.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It really is the little things, know, it's like our friend, could he take his car to the car wash? Yeah, sure. He could. But how nice is that he doesn't have to take time out of his day to do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that's like, this is a cool perk. Like this is a nice place to work. Or
and I bet you he's not sick or absent on those Mondays.
There you go. You know what? So in my old job, I worked in a call center, and absences are big in call centers. Specifically for the company I work for, apparently, like with the union, before I left the call center, the union actually, in like a national union meeting, they said we have the highest absentee rate. So it's probably management, in all honesty. That's the issue. But, and I mean, unfortunately, some people are just sucky ass employees, but if they were to do car washes on the days where where attendance was down, you're right, it would probably increase.
They probably wouldn't be there. I mean, they'd probably be there.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't be
See?
missing it. Yeah.
See? Or like on those days, do
that lunch is going to
something-
be brought in or whatever, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's a good point. But my boss did the lunch, handled all of that, and it was pizza. So, you know, I did not eat that. So that was good. I didn't have that. I was proud of myself.
Yeah.
But it smelled so good.
Yeah. So what's up? What's going on?
Okay. So I haven't told you about this yet, but I wanted to. So Hayden, you know, and his girlfriend broke up.
Right.
Right. Well,
his long-term or not long-term, long distance.
Long distance. Yeah. They were together a little over a year. He's 15. I mean, she is too, but, he has been talking to her. And so
slippery slope there.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
This is just ridiculous. Like, you guys just need to just be done with it. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's done. That's what I think. And then, so I had asked him, I was like, you know, why are you guys talking so much? She's like, how do you know we're talking? I'm like, because I know. And then he starts accusing his siblings. Did so-and-so tell you? Did so-and-so tell you? And I'm like, no, none of your siblings told me. Just, I know, like, I have information. Just, no, it wasn't any of your siblings. I promise you that. Just chill. So he's like, Dad, did Dad tell you? I'm like, yes, yeah, Dad did tell me. And he's like, how does Dad know? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Like, why are you guys talking so much if you're not? Because I was like, are you guys back together?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I'm like, then why are you guys talking so much? He's like, because we're friends. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So then he says they're friends. And then another conversation happens later because I took them to karate and we're leaving karate. And actually, no, it was after my brother's birthday dinner. We're getting gas and he says something. I'm like, who are you talking to? He's like, wasn't it obvious? I'm like, oh gosh, no, it wasn't obvious. He has been talking to more people, since they broke up, you know, so no, it wasn't super obvious, but I'm like, no, oh gosh. And then he ended up, saying something about like, I'm like, well, you guys, like, if you're going to keep talking this much, you might as well be together, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, Mom, we're friends. And I think she's about to get a boyfriend and I'm going to be fine with it. I'm going to be okay with it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's
very mature. Yes, very mature for this 15-year-old.
But I'm like, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Whatever. And so then after he had gotten off the phone with her, you know, we were driving home and he's like, Mom, can I be honest with you? He always says that. Can I be honest with you? And I want to punch him.
Do you want to say no?
Yeah, no, don't be honest.
The answer is actually no, you can't be honest with
I
me.
would prefer you always lie.
Please lie.
I only want to hear lies coming from you.
That's all I expect are lies.
Yes.
So please keep lying.
Exactly. I'm like, why do you say that? Yes, of course you can be honest with me. You can tell me whatever, but why do you have to say, can I be honest with you? I'm like, and he's like, okay, I haven't said this to anyone, so maybe he doesn't want everyone knowing this, but whatever. He's like, I haven't told this to anyone.
Sorry, America.
But, right? And some of those other countries, like the 1%. But he's like, our plan is that when we're 18, we'll get back together. And I'm like, okay.
Oh God.
He goes, I know it probably won't happen. That, like, blah, 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 whatever. But in the meantime, we're going to be best friends. And I know that's going to be hard for you, Mom. I was like, no, it's not. Like, what?
Why is that hard for you?
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Because I'm like, he must not understand how this works. Like, when they broke up and he was heartbroken, yes, that was hard for me. But I'm like, it's not going to be hard for me. It's going to be hard for you.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just telling you right now, like,
you're very invested in their relationship.
I
It's going to be very hard for you.
I don't care. I don't. At this point, because he was like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, even if you guys get back together, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And at this point, I've told you that I don't think it's a good idea. I have explained to you all of that. And if you decide to get back with her or you want to be best friends with her or any of that, you're going to learn from your own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
The decisions you make and how they play out, you will learn from them.
Right.
I can't do everything for you.
Right.
You're going to have to learn. And
does he think that you are upset with the girlfriend?
Yes.
And that's why it's going to be hard for you.
I think so.
Okay.
And I said, I don't care. Like, here's the thing. And I don't think he understands this because I think it's hard to understand how young you are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you're that age, you don't realize how young you are. Yeah. It's like, kid, I'm a grown ass woman. Like, I'm not, do I want you to be heartbroken? No. Do I know it's going to happen? Yes.
Yeah.
Does it suck for me? And like, does my heart hurt when you're like that? Yes. Is it going to happen again? Yes. You know, like, this is not going to be the only time, whether it's her or someone else. But I am not thinking about your relationship 24/7. And I feel like he thinks, that it does consume much more than in reality it does.
Right.
He just doesn't get it.
Because it consumes his life.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and like,
your mom's got her own relationship.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care about her. You know, like, what you decide, any of that.
See, this is what is, it's hard for me because I haven't been a parent that's had to go through that. I haven't had to go through that. So I don't know what it's like to be, I don't want to say in the middle of my kid's relationship, but even dealing with a child's relationship, really. But I feel like you've had young relationships in your life that, you know, like, these things come and go.
Exactly.
And you don't want to see your son hurt, but
I know
it's going to happen. And and we'll move on. The whole staying friends with them, with each other, I feel like either she's playing him.
That's exactly what I think.
You know?
Yeah.
And trying to keep him a little tight.
Mm-hmm.
There's it's like a little dangle, you know?
Yep.
We're going to stay friends.
Yeah.
Because when I need you, you're going to be there for me.
Right.
And then this high hopes of getting together again at 18. Man, she must have some, I mean, we know she has some powerful lips because I've seen those hickeys, but man, she must have the best kisses ever. He wants to just stay with this girl from Bakersfield. It's hard when you're that young, though. It's so hard.
So, not to be mean, but you are just so young and dumb.
You really are so dumb. So dumb.
Yeah. Like, I know when I was younger, I thought, you know, like, my high school sweetheart, I thought we were going to be together forever.
Right.
Like, you know, you talk about the future, this, and that, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I guess we were together when I was his age. We just got together around that age, you know, and then we lasted longer.
Yeah.
So I guess it was just like a different time span. But like, I look back and I just think about, like, oh my gosh, so ridiculous. You know, this stuff.
God, we're young and we're like 20 and we're still fucking stupid and young. Yeah. So we're real young and stupid at 15.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny to me. It's funny to me.
It'll be an interesting road. I'm really gonna to see the path that you go down with two of them. You know,
well, they're so different too.
They are so different. And so it'll be interesting to see both sides and how it looks on a boy's side.
Yeah.
You know, from a boy mom side of it. Hopefully, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but hopefully he just finds someone else in town that he really likes and he
No,
moves on with
I
them.
would rather it be that now because I'm just like, oh my God. Like when he, and I know some people are friends with their exes. I am aware of that.
At 15?
I mean, so a guy I dated for like a really small window before I started dating like my long-term high school boyfriend. He was in the same group, the same friend group. Don't worry, guys. I didn't have sex with both of them. Okay, I wasn't like a homie hopper. All right, but I did date this
Homie hopper.
I did date this one guy. It was like very short. Like I think maybe a couple weeks or I don't know. It wasn't very long at all. But then I ended up dating the other guy for a long time. And so I was still friendly with that other guy, because he was in our group. So it is what it is. Yeah. However, if I had started dating someone while I had a boyfriend that I went to Alta and he went to Clovis High, and we were together for like almost a year, I think. And when we broke up, guess how we broke up? We weren't still friends.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're not going to the same school and if you don't hang out with that group, it makes it a lot easier. The
problem is social media.
Yeah.
And all of the other ways to connect.
Yes.
Yes, we had our phones and we could text, but
really, when we were their age, we
didn't.
We would page each other. God, I do remember when I was at
I think I had a pager at the very tail end, right before like the cell phone stuff kind of came out. Yeah. But I did have like a AOL.
Oh yeah, like instant message.
Yeah, instant messenger. Mm-hmm. But then it's like time to turn the computer off and go to bed, and so you don't like. It's not like it's late. I can't be like on my phone at night before in my bed.
Right. I did have late night talks with my boyfriend.
Yes.
The one when I went to Alton.
But it's just it's like, I think if you were to first, like when everything first came out, it's like, how great we can connect with people, our family, our friends. We can stay connected and one and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then as we've been connected all of these years, we're like, fuck, we need to fucking disconnect.
I know.
We need to disconnect. Yes. There is too much connection.
There is.
I don't need to know all of this all the time. I don't want everyone to find me.
Yeah.
I don't want everyone.
You're very big about people not finding.
And even like, so like my pages are private, because I need to know you, and I actually really like want to see what you have, or like I would in order to like befriend you, or like accept you. But I get people, especially in my line of work, that will just try to add me to things, and I'm like, no. Because my shit is not for work.
Right.
My stuff is not for, not like I'm posting a nudie or anything.
But there are work relationships and friendships.
And everyone will just, And so like, even if it was like, let's say one of your friends and we were all hanging out and they added me, I would totally do that. Like, that's not my thing. It's more of like the professional work life, and then if they intertwine, it's by person to person. It's not like across the board. Just because you met me last night doesn't mean I'm adding you.
Yeah.
And I don't really maybe want you to see all my kids and everything.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That is the thing too, is that there are, you are.
I post a lot about my kids and stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's really what my posts are about. It's not like I'm doing anything really super awesome.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, I think it's awesome.
I don't have like the cutest outfits and like making like duck faces or anything. Like they're not like a bunch of selfies of me.
Right.
It's mostly about my kids, because that's basically my whole freaking life. I don't really have too much of a life outside of that, No,
I get what you mean. I'm not very good at posting. But I do think it's funny that there are, I guess on social media, I follow a lot of people that like say they show up in the feed, and I'm like, oh, I like what you're saying. I'll follow them.
Yes,
You know,
I do too.
like that kind of
do
thing.
too.
But you know, it's weird when you get these requests like from guys.
Oh,
and I'm like,
yeah.
Do I know you? Like, why is it? And some people I can tell, like, oh, well, they requested to follow me because I follow that person, and they're kind of into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, I have no, like, how did you even find me?
I know.
I mean, I know I'm sounding like an old granny.
I know. We don't understand
how does that even happen?
How about, do you remember that one of the first sponsors that reached out to us that wanted to sponsor our podcast or our Instagram page?
That email. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, they DM'd us too.
Oh, DM'd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was it, like sweaty balls or something?
I don't remember.
It was something that I was like, do they think our podcast is dirty or something? Why are they? It's like men's sweaty balls.
Maybe they think swap is like swapping.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we thought much about the upside down pineapple when we.
Or the gnomes.
Oh yeah, the gnomes are a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can just sit a gnome out there, or does it have to be an upside down gnome?
They're not upside down. I think it's just gnomes in general. It's supposed to be, send the message that you have an open relationship. Oh,
it's open.
It's not
swingers.
Swingers is pineapples upside down, but open marriage is gnomes. Gnomes, and there was one more, and I cannot remember what it was.
That is open.
Open.
It means open.
Open. And did you know, this is very weird to me, but did you know that there are actual clubs that are just there's clubs for swingers, but there's also clubs for open marriages or open relationships?
No.
Yes. And so in order to go, and you have to be members.
Okay. Is this like that big one that you would have heard about from a different podcast?
Yes, but there's several of them.
And I just think it's so interesting.
Yeah. And like, on that podcast, the guy was talking about how he was the owner of one of these, and him and his wife have an open marriage. And so they were like, so what happens? Like, basically it's a hookup place. Yeah. So they're like, so do you hook up? You show up together. You have to show up together.
Okay.
So you and your husband or your partner, you have to show up together, and then basically you hook up with other people. And they were like, so do you hook up there, or do you go to a hotel? Like, what do you, and they're like, yeah, so you could do both. Like, it depends on the club that you go to. So some clubs have a space in the club where you would go and get it on, or you could leave with a different partner.
So, okay, it's very confusing.
It is very confusing.
My personality would not do okay with that.
No. Hell no.
Sorry. But, okay, let's pretend.
Do you think that it's... Okay, go ahead. Finish, because
Let's say, okay, Jason and I go to this club. We're in an open marriage.
Yes.
Okay. What if Jason finds someone and then I don't? Then I'm just all by myself, and now I have to go home and be like, I was a loser? Like, then what?
I know. So I think they were talking about that. So, like, what happens, or what happens if like the only person that comes up to me is butt ass ugly and I don't want to go home with them?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, depending on the clubs, so because you're paying to be members.
Right.
So some memberships and some nights are like a different level of a couple. So like you have to have like the look or the whatever in order to attend that night. So I like, maybe if my attraction was, a 400-pound, redhead, that would be the night that would be the heavy redhead night or whatever. Or if it would be like, I want my guy to be, I want them to be tall, dark, and handsome. Then that would be that night. And that's the night that but you almost have to be invited for that night because the club members kind of keep track and they have a whole profile on the couple.
Oh, that would be so sad.
So then they were like, well, what happens if, so it's a different level of swinger to me.
See, okay, that's the thing is I feel like not that I'd be up for any of these, but at least like for swingers, one of you isn't getting left out.
Right.
And why does my head immediately go to like, why am I the rejected
You're going to be left out. You're afraid that if you're going to be a swinger, you're going to be left out.
Well, no, swingers, no, you're in.
Oh, right? Yeah. Open marriage. Okay, yeah.
Then what if then my self-esteem is going to be shot?
Yeah, I know.
Then what?
Well, okay. And then they were saying, so they said, did your wife and you, like, because they haven't been married. They've been married, like, they're an older couple and they've only been married like 10 years or something, or 15 years.
Is it because they just wanted to hook up with other people? They
never
wanted to get married?
So it's their second marriage, both of their second marriages. And when they met, he had already owned these clubs. And
so was his first wife down with this kind of thing too?
I don't know. But the second wife, the new wife, she had never been in an open marriage. Her marriage ended because her husband had divorced her, blah, 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 blah. There's always a story back there, right? There's some kind of story. But she had, the husband left or they got divorced. He was cheating on her. She was like, she's like, I'm probably never going to get married again. Because I need to try something different. I don't know what I need to try different.
I don't know. That's what
and I think they feel like she goes, it took me a while to like kind of get down with it. Like, are you sure? Like, cause he was like, this is kind of my life, but I would love you, whatever. But I just think like that's something that I want to continue. And she said, okay. And so they were like, but were you really okay with it? Or did you just love him and you were like settling? She's like, well, kind of a little bit of both. But
she's honest about
that. Yeah. But she said, she's like, we're happy and we're good and we love each other and monogamy is just not what works for us. And I'm like, what?
But why does it not work for her? Because she loves him? Or because she also wants to...
Because I really got the feeling from the interview that she could probably just be with him and be fine.
Yeah.
But he can't. So she's kind of has to be in the open.
What is the issue with that? That, like, I just wonder what is wrong with the person that, like...
Well, millionaire... What is it? Millionaire matchmaker Patty? She thinks that you're not healthy. Like there's something wrong. Like you're not healthy if you can't have a monogamous relationship. Okay. There's something wrong. So whether it's a commitment phobia or like something scaring you, or you maybe aren't fully invested in love and really do love this person like that, because if you're healthy in your mind, in your heart, and in your body, there should be no reason why you shouldn't be invested in a monogamous relationship.
Right.
Sorry. But it drives me crazy because I hear these stories and I think, I really feel like this happens a lot. Like there's a lot of couples out there like this.
Right. It's more than what we would know. Oh, I'm sure. Because I think
it's more common than we think.
I think it's not necessarily accepted in society. Like there are more things like that. Obviously, probably years ago, those things would all be underground, right?
Right.
But it is more acceptable now.
Now this guy has a whole business of clubs like this.
Exactly. So there's a lot of people going.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to talk to, say, okay, let's say you and Tony had an open marriage. even if you go to these clubs and whatever, and you guys are both fine with it, yada, yada, whatever, probably not going to mention it to any of the moms you meet at school. You know, you're not going to share.
Yeah.
There's probably
when they get to my house, they'll see my gnomes and then they'll know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. There's probably
and sorry, listeners, if you guys have gnomes, you may want to check this out. I'm just saying, you might be putting out a vibe.
Yeah. It may be time to rethink that.
The gnomes.
Because gnomes
that are very popular
I
right
know.
now.
They've gotten very, very popular in the last few years. And people might start trying to come and hook up with you and your husband.
And the only thing I can say is it's like, wife. And so I think, this is the other thing. So like they were asking, like, do you know about all his other relationships or whatever? Yes. And they're like, yeah, we pretty much know, like when we're going out with someone else or whatever. And I'm just like, really? Are you kidding me?
I just can't. That, like, even just thinking about those people, like, I have a pit in my stomach.
I know. Don't you feel so bad? Like,
yes,
I can't even imagine. I can't imagine.
What is she thinking when he's gone? And
right.
I mean, I don't want to even say what is he thinking, because I think
he is not thinking. He doesn't care.
He cares. But for her, like, or when he gets home, I just don't know how you become okay with it. I think you
kind of maybe have to have a little bit of like a sociopath vibe. Okay. If you can be that self-absorbed to have outside relationships and think that they're not going to affect your relationship that you say you love and would like and are married to.
Right.
You know? It seems a little narcissistic to me. And there's a little something that's off.
Yeah.
You know? Because why isn't that person enough for you?
Yeah.
And if that person isn't enough for you, then maybe you shouldn't be married to them.
And you
really need to get your dong licked and poked and touched and whatever.
Maybe you should marry a dong licker.
Yeah.
Like
marry the freaky girl. I don't know, but I mean,
but it's weird to me because, they know when, I'm going to go out tonight, blah, 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 whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
But there really is like a whole part of their life that you're not included in on, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you just, and there was a part of Tony's life that you were not?
No. And she goes, it took me a while, like in the beginning when I would grab his phone and kind of look through his phone and I would get like kind of jealous. And it took me a while to like learn to stop doing that and stop getting jealous. And I'm like, how do you not get jealous?
Yeah.
I mean, your husband is out there doing whatever.
Yes.
And then coming home to you. And I'm sorry, I'm thinking, girlfriend, you better make sure that you're all checked up because you don't know what's going on. I mean, if people are going to these clubs to do these things. And then, so then there's that part. And then there's the swinger part, right? Which is also, but it's almost like for the most part, I think swingers are just not to justify them, but I'm just saying, like, I think that they're just being very sexual beings, even with their partners. Right.
Right. Because for swingers,
I don't know.
Do they watch each other? Like they're not going to separate rooms, are they? Or are they going to separate rooms?
I don't know if they all do.
So that's.
I feel like it's. I feel like I just assume like a swinger is like an orgy party. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Which I guess
how to separate the two, or it's like the both husband and wife and are all four or something. I don't know. Like, or husband and wife and a girl, or husband, wife and a guy. I don't know, but.
No, so because swingers, they're switching couples, okay? Like they're switching partners.
Okay.
I just always pictured, and maybe this is me being super naive, I always picture they're
everything in the
switching
same room.
Partners and everything's happening in one room.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not the case.
I don't know.
Maybe that's not really what's happening.
I don't know, and I would say that I would look into it, but I don't want to because I think it would freak me out to see something like that.
Well, like photos?
I don't want to see photos, but like even just like, it just seems.
I think I have to look into it.
I think it just seems I know you can dig into stuff like that though. You could dig into like even your murder podcasts and stuff. I can't do it. I get like,
yeah, I love it.
It's too like real, and then I get freaked out about it. But it's just bizarre.
Yeah, so millionaire matchmaker Patty.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about how women, it's like most women, once you are sexual with someone, you feel very connected to them,
Yes.
right? Like guys are a little
Yes.
harder to get to that place.
Yeah.
They can kind of just
we connect emotionally,
and it's fine. But it's an emotional thing for
right?
us.
Yeah.
So then for someone who's in an open relationship, how are you so sure your wife is not going to become emotionally connected with another man? And as a wife, how are you not concerned that other women are going to become emotionally connected?
I would assume that a lot of them would. And I would assume that there's a lot of, that it just becomes I don't know. It just sounds to me like like a snowball that's just like building into chaos,
Yeah. See, and
it sounds very confusing. And it also sounds like, okay, these are people who have kids and families. And I'm like, how the fuck do you ever explain this to your kids?
Oh, gosh.
To your family.
No.
And you don't think that they're going to find out? I'm sorry. Eventually, that shit's going to have to come out, right?
Right.
And then what are they going to think?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Then you're never going to
I feel like your whole thing is a lie because, but I don't know. They've been married 15 years.
They've been married for 15 years?
Yeah.
Those people?
Uh-huh. And there's people that are, I'm sure married a lot longer. I'm sure, but just seems very unhealthy and very bizarre.
I guess what I don't understand is how, like, what's the point in marriage then?
Yes,
if you're going to be
agree.
Like that, what's
I agree.
The point in marriage? I guess
have a buddy.
Yeah,
have a pal.
Yeah,
you know what? They should make the pact that Hayden and his girlfriend made. And when they're older, they'll be together.
Yes.
They'll be friends.
They'll
and then, when they're like 70 and, his balls are in the toilet when he poops and, and her boobs are down to her knees, then they'll hook up and they'll get married.
Yeah.
And they'll no longer just be friends. And until then, they'll just poke everyone that they want to.
That is how I feel the relationship would have to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree.
I am obviously not, maybe I'm too jealous or too territorial.
Oh, I'm for sure way too jealous.
I just.
For sure.
Like,
and tutorial? Territorial.
Well,
I'm a tutorial of territorial.
Yeah. People get divorced over affairs because it's not normal to be okay with someone sleeping with other people.
No. When my ex-husband, when I found stuff about like his relationships,
that's like devastating.
Yeah.
Right?
And it wasn't, granted, I wanted to like murder him.
Of course.
I was thinking in my head, like, these girls are fucking hoes because I know they know he's married.
Right.
They know he's married and they know he has a kid, but he's the one that is married and he's the one showing his dong to how many people,
right?
And it was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
Like, you are disgusting.
Yeah, it is. It like
you are
very disgusting. You're heartbroken. It's like,
yes,
it's a lot of emotions.
Yes. And it really does scar you. I was freaking scarred.
Yeah.
I definitely had to refigure out how to find my worth, right, and realize that it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I still was. It doesn't mean that I was ugly or whatever. It was his issue.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with my looks, had nothing to do with my weight, had nothing to do, but that takes a lot to like get your head out of that space.
Yeah, you have.
For a long time, that's where my head was.
Yeah. You do have to heal in all of those aspects.
And then you just think like, I used to sit there and think like, if he's going out with these girls and I saw the girls, I did not have a whole lot of self-esteem then, but I still felt like I looked better than these girls. Yeah. I just thought, I must never get like looked at, like no one must ever look at me and think like of me that way. Not like they want to show me their dong, but I mean like that they never saw me as a pretty, like I never must have stood out to people.
Oh, wow.
And it, I mean, I think that I look at that and I just think, I mean, I was damaged,
Right.
I was completely damaged. And how can I would never, ever be okay with thinking of my husband being with anyone else.
No, never.
I need to be your person.
Right.
I need that. Sorry, I have to be your person. Right. You have to be mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get to,
No, other people.
No.
But I mean, because,
I'm not sharing.
I mean, and not even just the physical aspect of it, because, there are a lot of relationships that get damaged over emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Affairs.
Yeah.
People that have emotional affairs. And you are, I mean, destroyed there too. And
well, and one thing that I learned, I think going through what I went through for a long time and being so young, is that I realized and I saw signs of like how not easy in the sense of like anyone can cheat, but it's easy to, if an opportunity is given, a small crack in the window, just a small one. I mean, that little serpent will come right into your window and it will keep pushing its way through.
Right.
And so, I was just telling the girls at the gym the other day, I said, I am a firm believer, like, even when you're not happy in your marriage, whatever, you never speak those words to the opposite sex.
Oh, no.
Never.
No.
But people do.
Yes.
People throw things out there and they say things and you're like, you can't do that, because if it takes one person to hear that and think like, they may not even be thinking, oh, we're going to hook up.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you are great. You are good. You're beautiful, blah, 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 blah. And she's obviously hurting.
Right.
And you're a man paying attention to her and telling her everything that she actually needs her husband to tell her, but you're telling, no, you cannot do that.
Slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope. So as a spouse, you have to take into consideration your feelings and your marriage and whatever. You tight-lip that shit. You want to tell your buddy, you want to tell your counselor, your therapist, whatever. I don't care. You want to tell your whoever. Don't ever throw that out there in the world for another girl, another man to come up and pick up on, because it is dangerous.
It is.
And I think what happened was, and not all of it, I think what can happen is he's in a work environment that has all these things going around. Granted, there's a lot of alcohol and things going around as well, but all it took was someone paying attention to him.
Right. And
him not having any fucking smarts to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this girl? No,
right.
I'm over here,
Right. Yeah. Especially because, when, like you were saying, don't put it out for the opposite sex, because when you are unhappy in a relationship, or
it clouds your judgment too.
It does cloud your judgment, but unhappiness could come from it. Not just that, things are miserable, but maybe you feel, and I feel like a lot of times guys feel this way, that they're not a priority, after kids. After kids, I think it's very common for men to feel they're not a priority.
Yeah.
Like they're put on the back burner. The kids
mostly because they're not a priority. No.
The kids are the important ones. But, and that's why we always talk about, especially when you have kids, that it is so important that you still focus on your relationship, because it is so easy to get away from that.
And I will tell you, it's only been a few months, but it has been a few months that we've been so on the go and not having our moments to each other.
Right.
And it makes a big difference.
It does.
We feel it. You can feel it.
Well, it starts to put distance between.
Yeah.
It starts to put, whenever it's been a while since we've had sex, even though I'm like, no, I want to go to sleep. I want to no, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
You're like, nope, gotta do it.
I still am a much nicer person after I've had sex.
Right.
It's like, why am I such a pain in the ass sometimes? Because I just need to realize, like,
you need it too.
Yes,
yeah,
I do.
You need it too.
I'm like, I'm fine physically. I'm fine. Like,
you're like, I don't need sex. Like go ahead. But you do.
Afterwards, it's like, you dumb broad. Like,
have you? Okay, I have a question. Have you ever done one of those love language tests?
No.
Okay, we're gonna do one today.
Okay.
Because I just did it on Tony like a couple nights ago.
I know Jason's love language.
I know Tony's now, but he does. I didn't take the test on me.
Oh, okay. So you and we'll have to do Jason. Jason's never done it. I just know. I know his love language is all.
What is it?
He has 2, but gift giving, big gift giving, and physical touch.
Tony's is physical touch, number 1, and words of affirmation, number 2.
So you know what? I don't think about it a lot, and when I think about it, I try to be really good at saying things. But I think Jason is secretly words of affirmation.
Yeah. We'll do the test.
Yeah.
But you know what? As he's answering, because some of the questions he was answering, I was like, okay. And when the answer, most of them, I was like, yeah. And then he answered a few. I was like, I wouldn't have thought that. Gift giving was like 0 for him.
See, gift giving is like 0 for me.
Yeah.
But Tony and I really are soul sisters.
I know. So it was interesting. We'll have to do the test. I want to know. He's been asking. He's like, well, what did you test on? I was like, oh, I didn't take it. Yeah. He's like, you just tested me? I was like, well, yeah.
I want to know.
I only need to know about you. Yeah. I don't need to know about me.
I'm not loving myself.
Yeah.
I already do. Thank you. No. But yeah, that is so crazy. So we'll do that. And we'll let you guys know.
Yeah. And make sure you check your yard statues.
Yeah.
And
hit up your garden.
Check the vibe that you're putting out there. Yeah. Okay.
Just
saying. I know they're cute. I know they're cute. Those little gnomies.
They're all over Hobby Lobby. Mm-hmm. All over
those little homie gnomies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now they may mean that you're a little freak-a-leak with your husband.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you are, and you just are still leaving them out there.
That's fine. If you want to leave them out there because that is the vibe you're going for.
You know what? If that's your vibe, can you please DM us and tell us why that's your vibe? Because we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And we're not going to judge you. We're saying it wouldn't work for us because of how we are.
I may judge a little bit.
I won't because I'm going to be so interested.
No, it's, you know what? It's just like when that couple was telling me, it wasn't that I was judging them like, they're disgusting. It was that I was like, what is the behind the scenes story?
Yeah.
Like how does that come around? How does that even, happen?
Right. I agree.
Anyway.
So let us know if you are either swingers or open marriage. Let us know.
DM us the gnome. DM us the pineapple. Well, no.
Yeah. But then I'm going to also have a lot of questions.
That's true.
So curious. I am going to research it. So I might have a little, additional information next time.
Yep.
And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for swapping with us.